Hello and welcome to Octave. Hopefully you were able to install it without too much trouble. So this is a program that was first developed back in 1988 by a guy named Octave Levenspiel, and he was actually working on a textbook for chemical reaction engineering from the Oregon State University. It's the GNU part of it comes because it's part of the GNU project, which is quite a few pieces of software. Linux, I think, is the main one of people trying to create free open source. So a little bit of a fight back for Windows and Mac and not being able to own software. And the GNU project is trying to get things open source where you don't have to pay for it. You can own it. You can do whatever you want with it, which is a really great thing to support anyways. Okay, so as you open up this first screen, you'll notice a few different windows. So we have the command window here. There's a couple tabs at the bottom of this with the documentation, editor, variable editor. We will get into these other tabs here in the future, but let's go ahead and start with just the command window. Other things to notice is the file browser, very convenient. And the workspace, as we start creating variables, you'll be able to see those variables populate over here in the workspace. And we'll also have command history that'll make it really easy to go back and grab commands that you had used before. This is written in C++, so hopefully you'll start recognizing a few of the functions in the future as we get involved. But to start out with, let's just do some basic arithmetic, I guess. I'm going to start by clearing out the screen with CLC. And you can use this just like your calculator, so you can add numbers and divide numbers. And so a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory for things like square root, cube root. You can use SQRT. Try some of these out. Here's cube root. I don't know, put a random number in there. You can also create variables. So let's say I have a variable for acceleration is equal to negative 9.81 meters per second squared. Okay, as I create that, you notice over here, I now have the name of the variable, double. This is, and MATLAB 2, Octave is compatible with MATLAB. MATLAB stands for matrix laboratory. So everything is going to be in here as a matrix, including just individual numbers. So it's kind of silly to see this as a one-by-one matrix, but that's how it handles all variables. So it has it declared over here. You don't have to say integer, string. It just automatically sees it and declares it for you. And then once you have it in there, you can start using it for things. So I can say, I don't know, 1/2 times A times, what should our time be? 10 seconds or something, right? So you can start using that variable in equations once you have it in there. Okay, just a few trig functions. So it likes to use radians. It actually has functions for both radians or degrees. So if I'm going to put something in here in terms of radians, so let's say 30 times, do you remember how to convert from degrees to radians? So it has things like pi, 3.14159. Or if I don't want to type pi over 180, I can actually put SIND. So adding that little d at the end allows me to just type using straight degrees. Yay! So that's very, very convenient. So there's things like exponent and inverse. I have a bunch of these for you. Let me bring this over here. So I gave you guys kind of a cliff notes with some examples on some of these, and This is a link to, there's a lot of online books that you can use for free, and Octave has documents that you can use for free, but just play around with some of these basic functions, and this will get you through the first part of the quiz. The very first question has you use a few of these. So everything from rounding, remainders, logarithmic functions, absolute. So get used to using this as a calculator for the first step.